All right, welcome in the Questionable Podcast. You got Scotty Questions here tonight with Miko.
What's good, man?
And Gian on the West Coast.
Hello.
Right on time there. Love that. Again, thank you for joining us tonight, Tuesday evening. Please follow, like, and subscribe as we grow our channel here. We are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Great work, Miko, pulling that together last week. Very excited. I thought it came out very nice. I look forward to doing more YouTube videos. We're going to try and get some images, maybe a ticker too, John. Surprise. Thinking about that.
Yeah.
We're going to have some other little things pop up, some graphics, sponsors, everything.
It'd be good to get all those things.
Again, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But anyway, first step was great. So thank you again. So anyway, welcome in tonight. We're going to cover a kind of wide array of items. We're going to start and talk about a little bit of Lions, Ben Johnson, Aubrey Pleasant. We're going to talk Senior Bowl recap. We're going to talk Senior Super Bowl breakdown. We're also going to try and get to Harbaugh going back to Michigan. Nice. And are all-star games becoming pointless? Miko, this is Miko's point, and I do want to qualify this that he had this idea before our own Mike Valenti had that today. So we're going to talk about it because we had it first. And also I have a couple other things I do want to touch on. I don't know if we'll have time. So we're going to start out with the our reaction to the Lions promoting Ben Johnson to OC. And Aubrey Pleasant, he's had his interviews with Minnesota.
Yeah. He
is tied to the new head coach in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Miko, do you want to touch on that real quick?
Well, yeah,
get us up to speed here.
I would give I'm going to start with Ben Johnson. Kudos for the Lions of doing, I've heard a lot of people saying this and I agree with it. Kudos to them for doing the right thing, right? Ben Johnson proved that this was a job that he should have, right? After they took away play calling responsibilities from Anthony Lynn,
right?
Ben Johnson came along, Dan Campbell. They worked together with the passing game and really took it leaps and bounds from where it was in the first half of the season. So kudos to the Lions for doing the right thing. I know we were hearing that they were going to be interviewing other guys, but when you see that your offense improved that much and you can kind of connect it to a person or a group of people, it would make sense to elevate those people.
Sure. Right.
I think another thing to point out, Ben Johnson is only like 35 years old. So he's young. He has coached almost every position within the offense. He's coached wide receivers. He's coached tight ends. He's coached, I believe, running backs. And I believe he's coached offensive line. So you're getting a guy that's well-versed. He's only 35, but he's been coaching in the NFL ranks almost like 11 years.
He's right in that wheelhouse we've been talking about, younger coaches, being able to
generational
connect with
shift
the players. Yes, the generational shift we've been talking about. What's funny is Colin Cowherd brought this up too, but he's saying, and what they're saying is it's collaborative. Like Harbaugh is less collaborative than a Sean McVay.
Okay.
Right. And he's in there. And so this is the big media are they're using that term as less collaborative, where I think it's just the ability to communicate with that generation. Harbaugh just can't do it.
Well, it's the evolution, kind of like you and John are saying, right? It's the evolution of the NFL where it's more it is more collaborative, it is more communication, and it's less of a hierarchy of, well, the head coach does everything and then everybody else just falls in line.
100% like the way we say it better. That's
yeah,
right.
Dan Campbell is definitely cultivating a culture where, again, he wants everyone's opinion because he believes that's what's actually going to lead to success. Now to Aubrey Pleasant, I have very
but Ben, okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
To the Aubrey Pleasant,
I want to go back to I want to go back to Ben Johnson for a second.
Yeah, no, you guys can go, like, this is just my opinion on these two guys.
Got it.
And then
Okay.
You guys can go back and give your takes. Aubrey Pleasant, I have mixed emotions on, right? On one hand, I am extremely happy for this opportunity for Aubrey Pleasant because, like we discussed last week, the lack of minority coaches in positions of coordinator and getting these types of promotions is very rare. So the fact that Aubrey Pleasant, after 1 year with the Lions, is already getting this type of like recognition and tee up to possibly be somebody's defensive coordinator is a huge deal, in my opinion. And it's a huge testament to the work that he's put in with the Lions and with their secondary. On the other side, I'm just like anywhere but Minnesota, though. Like, please, not in our division, because I believe that Aubrey Pleasant will be a fantastic defensive coordinator. And one of the things that Minnesota has struggled with for the last few years is their secondary.
Yep.
And the last thing I need is that
for that to get better.
Yeah. Because they have some young guys too, the same way the Lions do. So it would make sense that they would go after an Aubrey Pleasant, because you look at the work that he did with this young group of talent.
Just screaming at Okuda on the sideline.
Right. So
do your job.
So I have mixed emotions. I'm happy that he's getting this opportunity, and I'm also just kind of bummed out that it has to probably be Minnesota. But this is, a result of the NFL changing the rules back in 2020. So before 2020, you used to be able to like ban coaches, or you could like deny a team if they wanted to interview your coach. You could be like, no, we're not sending him to interview with you.
Oh, but you can't now.
But you can't do that anymore. So again, I'm happy for Aubrey Pleasant. I still somewhat hope Minnesota goes a different direction.
From what I understand, that rule is you can stop them from going. You can stop them from interviewing for a lateral position.
Yes. Sorry.
But you cannot keep them from interviewing for a position higher,
a promotion.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
I was just looking at Aubrey Pleasant's Wikipedia, and it looks like he came from the Rams.
Yeah. Yep.
And so
Rams.
I'm with you, Miko. I think I saw the headline and it was just a punch in the gut. I'm a huge fan. But I think it all comes down to I want him to do as best as he can. I want the best for him as a person. But yeah, gut punch as a Lions fan. That said, I think this is a good opportunity to see the team, the culture, the coaches that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are building, because they brought Aubrey Pleasant in to begin with. And I feel like this is where we as Lions fans are so not used to things being good, that when something good, or like when a really good coach, a coach that we really like, who did well, now is going to get a promotion, he's getting interviews to take that next step in his career, deservedly so. We're like, oh no, that thing that was good is going away.
Yeah.
And because we only know pain.
Used to it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so we only know pain.
Ew.
Right. Yeah. So, but I think this is, if he does go, which I saw rumors today, he's also interviewing for defensive coordinator for the Saints. If he gets either of those positions, I think again we're really going to get to see. Was this lightning in a bottle with Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell in hiring Aubrey Pleasant, or is this these guys just have an eye for talent, and they're going to develop they always talk about like the Belichick coaching tree, failing, the Andy Reid coaching tree. Are we starting to see the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes coaching tree? It's just interesting. But that said, again, Miko, you've said it a lot. In Brad Holmes, we trust. But this, again, adversity, is this going to be something that they just happen to fall back into, getting Aubrey Pleasant? Or is this something like, no, we're really good at evaluating talent, and the next guy we bring in is going to be just as good?
Well, we're going to have to see. I mean, right, yeah. John, that's part of it. I think that the biggest takeaway for me is, hey, look, Aubrey Pleasant, Aaron Glenn, like this group of coaches, right, that we were excited to welcome to Detroit.
Yeah.
We knew we really thought, we as a group, we thought and knew they would be good, and they were good, right, for what their roles were. And I think that the team succeeded in a lot of aspects this year, right? I think Dan Campbell and that group changed the entire attitude and demeanor and changed the trajectory of that locker room and team.
When I think it also points to your point, it showcases the value of that, right? Because this team didn't win a lot of games. They weren't ranked very highly defensively, but clearly these other organizations and these other coaches are seeing the value in an Aaron Glenn, in an Aubrey Pleasant. We're like, no, these are great teachers. These guys know how to get the best out of their players. and they want that, obviously.
Yeah. So this is just affirming all their hires and affirming like the job they've done. So if everyone around the league is interviewing them, to me, that's great. And to John's point of don't take our nice things because we don't have nice things. We're not allowed to have nice things here because we break them. So
can they do it again?
It's nice to see that. And and that's the question. And John, I would hope that the answer to that is an easy and resounding yes, of course. We'll just on to the next. And so the idea is, right, that's what a big part of the NFL is being able to do that, right? To be able to adjust and move, like for the injuries, with the coaches moving on. I mean, it's such a fluid league, right? For how rigid it is fluid, and it has to be. Yeah. And so I think that's like I said, it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing those guys are getting interviews. And if they do get a job, hopefully they succeed and we can replace and move on and move forward, right? So I want to touch back to Ben Johnson being promoted to OC.
Yeah.
All right. So Ben Johnson is OC. So Dan Campbell's clearly going to be still calling plays, right?
That's what I would think this move signifies, in my opinion.
Is this the same old Lion? Is this the same old Lions move? To me, it feels.
How so?
To me, it feels like we're promoting from within somebody that's hasn't had the role before. It feels like one of those. Now, I'm saying it feels like it.
Right.
Like a Jim Bob Cooter. We're going to promote him from within and we're going to do this. Is it now? My heart says, no, it's not. It's different. Right. Because I want it to be different.
Right.
But as
rational,
trying to be unemotional here is this, it looks. It looks similar. It looks similar.
Yeah.
It feels similar.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it's different.
I will tell you why it is different.
Okay. I'd love, please, both of you. John, think about this. You're on deck.
The reason I would say that this is different is because Jim Bob Cooter went from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator.
Yes.
And he was retained between two different coaches. Right. So it wasn't just like, oh, he got a promotion for doing a good job. Like he got a promotion and then a new coach came in and was like, well, sure, I guess I'll let him be the OC as well. You are getting a guy who was already with the Lions. So Ben Johnson was from the Patricia era and Dan Campbell kept him there and just changed his responsibilities level, gave him tight ends coach.
Okay. So
you also have 11 years.
Happened.
You have 11 years of experience. And then you have a good chunk of the season where Ben Johnson wasn't calling plays. He was helping to strategize. And then Dan Campbell was calling plays. So you are now getting, it's not full autonomy, right? Like Ben Johnson just can't just do whatever he wants. And it's not as cut and dry. I think Jim Bob Cooter, when he was promoted to OC, the only real thing that he did was like, oh, we're going to start throwing it deep again.
Well, I think that's also Stafford had something probably to say about that. And Stafford probably had a hand in what the playbook was going to look like.
Well, yeah, because if you remember, before Jim Bob Cooter took over the reins, it was a lot of like short passes. There weren't a lot of deep routes that Matthew Stafford was throwing, which is what he's best at doing. And it was a very conservative offense. They fired Joe Lombardi. Jim Bob Cooter gets the job, and the first thing he does is nope, deep shots. Everywhere.
Right, I remember that, and we were all happy. And we loved the name, right? I mean, it was the whole thing.
So
I remember John and I being like, "This is amazing. We're gonna get jerseys, we're gonna get T-shirts."
But I also would think like
custom
that good teams do. They hire within when they recognize talent within, and that's why I said like you got to give them credit for giving Ben Johnson this promotion because he earned it. It wasn't just like a
Jim Bob Johnson.
Well, because if you think about it, if you were going to take the responsibilities from Anthony Lynn and then you were going to give it to somebody else as far as play calling, the next logical choice probably would have been Mark Brunell. Honestly, he's the quarterback coach, right? Isn't he the guy that works closely with Jared Goff? But he didn't go that way. He went to the tight ends coach, which proved that Ben Johnson at least had some level of knowledge and expertise that Dan valued more so than anybody else.
Can we let's ask our guest next week. I want to write that down for a question for our guest next week.
Well, we don't need to ask because I'm about to settle the issue right here.
Oh, snap. Double.
0-9.
Yeah.
3-3-1.
There you go.
That's it. Like, that's all you need to say. Like honestly.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
So like it makes a lot of sense. I like the promotion, and I think that's why it feels different. It does, like, you're not just promoting this guy because you like him. You're not promoting this guy because he's your crony. You're not promoting this guy because he's your chum, or you like the cut of his jib. You're promoting him because once he took over in an increased role in play calling, you started winning.
Right.
And that's all I have to say. Like, that's it. Like, that's it.
Okay. All right. That's it. Okay. We're done here. That's it. Okay. So anything else, Ken Johnson, Gian, then would you like to continue on your triumphant
that's all
comments?
I had. Keep it short and sweet.
Oh, that's it. Just that.
Mm-hmm.
How many tears will you tear when Aubrey Pleasant leaves?
How many tears will you tear?
Yeah.
How many tears
will you tear?
How many tears will you tear?
How many tears will you tear?
I want to be hurt. Like, I'm gonna be like, so
really?
Yeah.
Like, he was awesome on the sidelines, man. Like him, like, because like he did not look like putting his finger, like he like his arm was filling out that
finger.
shirt.
It was a down finger too. It wasn't like a pointed. It was a down finger.
It's also worth noting Aubrey Pleasant is a Flint native, so he's from Flint.
Oh, come on, he can't go,
dude.
Oh, he can't go.
He's gonna go though, just because we want him to stay so bad. He's going to leave.
I mean, you can't turn down promotions.
No. I get it. But I'm just saying, like, he gone.
Yeah. But I think outside of that, so I think we'll see like exactly like how the Lions adjust, with their coaching staff. But I think one of the next big adjustments that the Lions are gonna have to deal with is with the draft and with them coming off the Senior Bowl this week. This is my time of year. Like, oh
boy, here we go.
I love draft season.
Hello, this is Draft Miko speaking.
So from the time the Senior Bowl starts until the draft is over, I'm going to be insufferable because I pay attention to every mock draft. I pay attention to every draft conversation. And I don't know how much you guys got to watch the Senior Bowl or got to watch the coverage. Senior Bowl was really, really exciting this week. It was definitely worth the watch. The game was a little up and down, but
Malik
Willis was
to Detroit.
Malik Willis was easily the most talked about player, at least here. I don't know about everywhere else, but definitely here he was talked about a lot.
Well, based on the zebra technology, the way he threw the ball was off the charts, quote unquote.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he definitely has a cannon. Like, you can tell he has a little bit of a Stafford problem.
Or Josh Allen. He's got similar numbers to Josh Allen. He's a little bit shorter. John did send record.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He broke Josh Allen's record for airspeed velocity. Whatever that means. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that means.
That is for quote unquote off the charts.
That means he throws the ball really, really hard.
Yeah, he throws the ball very hard. Whether
Brett Favre likes to throw the ball hard. Yeah, Brett Favre over there.
Well, that's why I say, like, he has a little bit of
Madden.
He might have a pretty good Madden.
Brett Favre.
You got the jowl sound. That's a good
Brett Favre. I don't. Is that a turducken over there?
You just need to add boom.
You got him, and bang,
boom.
I thought it was boom.
Is it boom?
Yeah, it's
boom. God damn it!
Boom, and you got him. I blew it. Another day with Scotty questions.
Okay.
That was wrong. Okay. Anyway,
that was the only thing because that was actually the only part I watched the Malik Willis highlights. I didn't watch the Senior Bowl. I watched the Malik Willis highlight reel, and I gotta say his ability to scramble looks strong. When the pocket broke down, he had a very solid awareness of when it was breaking down.
Yeah.
And then he had that one run. He went like 20, 30 yards.
It was like the end of the half. And they were like, oh, because the way the Senior Bowl works is you change possessions after the quarter. And they were like, oh, the American team is going to basically give the ball back and not have a chance to score. And he ran 30, 40 yards. And they're like, wait, he might actually score.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no time left on the clock though.
So I do want to play a little clip here real quick, just from Jim Nagy and Derry for Locked On Lions. He had Jim Nagy in, and Jim Nagy was running and managing the Senior Bowl here, and he had a lot of good things to say about Malik. And so real quick, we'll just take a listen on what he thinks and why he thinks he could go and make it up to the top 10.
I think Malik Willis, if you're talking about top 10 guys and guys that could really go up that high, there's a lot of talk about Malik coming out of the week. And I just say this: if Trey Lance went 3rd overall last year, there's no reason to think that Malik couldn't get up into the top 10, because the reason you'd be drafting Trey Lance up there high is the same reason why you'd be interested in Malik Willis, is because they've got a bunch of stuff you can't coach. They've got all the raw tools. Malik really showed that off. We had a Wednesday practice out in the inclement weather. It was never pouring. It was kind of a light, steady rain all afternoon. Never stopped though, but there were some winds. And Deuce wanted to keep those guys out in it. I went to him between practices and said, "Coach, what do you want to do here? Let's talk through this." And I think it's a good evaluative tool for the teams to see these guys throw in those conditions. And Malik, to see Malik's ball cut through the wind with no problem. We had the balls chipped with the zebra technology stuff that the NFL uses. That's the NFL's data collection partner. So in Malik, all the QB metric ball stuff, I mean, he was off the charts in all of it. Even historically, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've been associated with zebra. I mean, his max velocity, all that stuff was off the chart. So I think Malik would be a guy. I think there's a lot of interest in Kenny Pickett. We'll see how high he can go. He's just a guy that plays the position really, really well. And then, and Desmond Ridder, I thought quietly had a really nice week. He probably was the most consistent of all the guys. So
anyway, to his point, now I think Miko, you had a good point. He is not, and I'm going to say he's not the same size as Trey Lance, right?
No.
And he's not the same size as Josh Allen. I think that's the thing, right? We're comparing him to these guys, and he's not the same. They're very generally the same, but for his ball speed to be off the charts, for his ball to cut through the wind like that. And the biggest thing that I think, which I think Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, and company is that he's a leader, right? A leader of young men. And the fact that, like he says, that the way in which the players rallied around him and followed him, to me, that's something that you really can't quantify. And it's something to be said. And I think it's something that the Lions want. It's that it factor, right? I mean, he even says it.
Sure.
He's got something there. And I think that's what the Lions, that's what Dan Campbell's looking for, is that it, right? Sure. Which you can't quantify now. And that's my thing. So I don't think we give up anything for him. I don't think we take him with our draft pick, right? I don't think he'll fall to our second pick. And so I just don't think we are able to get him. The only way to get him is to trade back, and I don't think we do that. We need everything.
You mean trade up?
Sir, yeah, trade up.
Yeah. So
or trade our first round pick back. Like, I'm just saying, or trade back.
Oh, you mean trade like back from
back?
Two?
Yes.
Oh no, there's no way in hell you do that.
I'm just saying all options are on the I'm just saying, people, I know you. No, I wouldn't. People have been saying that.
People are saying it.
People are saying it. Gian said it. I heard it.
You know why people say it?
Gian said it.
You know why people say it? Because it's draft season.
Hey, yeah, no, and yes, Miko, go ahead, because that's something I wanted to touch on, because you got reports. Malik Willis. I mean,
did you know Malik's going 1 overall?
Like that is what
like all it takes is one person to like kind of put that out there, and then it like trickles down. And then you've got Malik Willis moving up. I've read numerous reports, maybe numerous 2 or 3, but like Kayvon Thibodeau is like, oh, he's out of the top 10,
which is BS.
So like, there's so much stuff. Like, how do we? And this is something for listeners. I'm working on a little conspiracy corner. Future episode.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how far it gets, but. This kind of is part and parcel of all that, of like, you cannot ignore the commercial aspect of this, and the agents who represent these people are trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to, like, there are so many levers of there are so many hands on the levers behind the scenes here that if you get your guy 3 spots higher, then you get promoted at your agency. You are on a faster career track. So, and all of these guys, they're all owned by like the people who own the management companies. The agencies are the same people. Like they go to the same country club and they eat at the same restaurants as the people who own all the newspapers. And so you have this system by which these things come out where like Malik Willis is moving up, Kayvon Thibodeau is moving down, and is Karlaftis the actual best player in the draft? And because for months that had been Kyle Hamilton, and now so like all of these narratives emerge, and I just want our listeners to just take it all with a heaping shovel full of salt.
Yeah. Well, because again,
Conspiracy Corner coming soon with Gian, the conspirator Hendricks.
To John's point, right?
What's it not like? What
Malik did have a great week. He had a fantastic week. And again, a lot of that is credit to you took a guy that played at a small school like Liberty. He went and he got to play against the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Auburns, got to throw against those caliber of players. And he looked good. Now, he didn't look great. Like, this entire group of quarterbacks is a mixed bag. Like, in my mind, Kenny Pickett is still probably the number 1 quarterback.
Small hands.
And he's had small hands this whole time, and he still almost won the Heisman. Like, he was still in Heisman voting. He wears gloves. He's been a fantastic passer of the football for many seasons while he was at Pitt, and he was still consistent at the Senior Bowl. Didn't wow, but like he was consistent. And like I told John before we started recording, if you like Kenny Pickett hasn't given you a reason to not like him.
Right. I also heard he's the most mature.
Yeah.
Right. With his interviews, he was very mature.
So
he is a 5th year.
So you look at that, and yes, Malik, wow,
5th year senior.
But then you look at the game. Desmond Ridder had the best game, right? Like on the field. I did hear that. Yeah. He looked very, very promising. So you start to look at, okay, well, Malik, Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, who hasn't been able to play yet because he's, injured and he's not a senior. So we won't see him until combine and pro days and stuff like that. These 4 guys, like, it's going to be a matter of preference and what you're willing to put your money on. I still think Kenny Pickett probably goes first because I think he's the sure thing. And anybody who needs a quarterback is probably going to be looking for a sure thing. Can't necessarily take the gamble that Malik Willis is going to have. And then we got to see what Matt Corral is. He was somebody that was considered maybe the number 1 quarterback at a time, and maybe he goes before Malik. Does somebody like what they see in Desmond Ridder? Big 6'4" guy, strong arm, maybe not quite as strong as Malik, but he has a strong arm. Like, that was one of the things coming out about Desmond Ridder as well, that he was like throwing lasers as well. And he proved, at least in the game, that he's a gamer. So can you get him into a system where he flourishes?
Sure.
I do think we need to pump the brakes a bit on Malik. I would love for the Lions to get him. And if the Lions love him, if everything that you just laid out about his leadership, the velocity, all these types of things, and you think that you can nurture that, then you should trade up and get it. You shouldn't let that just be like, oh, well, we think we see all the signs of a star and we're just not going to go after it. No, you go after it. I'm not saying you need to, but if that is what we think the Lions are saying and thinking behind closed doors, you absolutely should be looking at that 32 pick and probably packaging it with the second first round pick that you'll have next year and trying to go from 32 up into the teens.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Now, to your point, though, if there's something in Ridder, I don't know. I mean, I think that the idea is that, in my opinion, the Lions have a great group, and all of a sudden they have a great what am I saying? I can't even talk about it. What they've done in the locker room is a great place to nurture a young quarterback or any young player, right? They have that sense of community that I think we didn't have before, right? That sense of trust, like leadership. I think everything, right? The whole thing has been changed, and I think that any of these young quarterbacks, if it fits for them, I think we should be getting a quarterback. I think we should. I don't know, and it would be nice. Then they'll be behind Jared, right, for another year. We can have this conversation, in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, they sit behind Jared, and you find out, do you have a star? Or do you have a Jordan Love?
Right. I'm just saying, because you have to now. And my other thing too is, right, I think that owners and GMs are getting to both of your point. I think that this league is very offensive now, right? Everyone's falling in love with these offensive players because of the way the game's being played. And so they're taking flyers on these quarterbacks, right? Look at last year. I mean, look at Jordan Love, Trey Lance, Jordan
Love was 2 years ago, but yeah.
Sorry, but
Trey Lance was last year.
Trey Lance was last year.
He sat.
What's his face with the Jets?
Zach Wilson.
I mean, who are the ones that went last year? Zach Wilson, Trey Lance,
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones.
And the best one out of those?
Mac Jones.
Right. And he was the last one taken of those quarterbacks?
In the first round, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the Patriots.
Yeah. And I think, and obviously the plan originally was for him to probably sit, but he played well enough and got the start. Again, I've said, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were evaluating quarterbacks. I am not going to say the Lions need to do this. I'm not going to say that it's an absolute need, but if in their evaluation, if Malik Willis checks every box for them and they feel like, hey, he would be an upgrade over Jared Goff, and you believe that you have the ammunition to go from 32 into the teens in an area where you could get him, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you don't do that.
Right, I agree, but it's got to be what they want, right? And so I think we do have to trust in them in this situation, right? I mean, because it is not as clear cut as like, this guy's amazing. But look at Trevor Lawrence, like he was the number one, by far the best guy. Did not have a good season.
Yeah, but that team sucks.
That team, sucks. And there was no moments. There was no moments though that I saw this season where I was like, oh yeah, that dude's a number one pick.
What about when they beat the Colts?
It still didn't look like it wasn't because of him. It was not because of him. I'm just saying, like any other number one first quarterback, like there's something there. There's a fight. There's something. I didn't see much from him.
I can't speak much to that, but I will say we've talked about on this show multiple times about Mac Jones stepping into the best situation out of all those quarterbacks, and so it is kind of, I mean, maybe not unfair, but a little unfair to talk about Trevor Lawrence going into the situation he went into and saying, oh, well, I don't see why he was picked number one. And then Mac Jones going into the situation he went into and being like, oh man, steal of the draft, late first round.
Well, I didn't say steal of the draft.
No, you didn't. That was me editorializing. Good call. Right. Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Holding me accountable. That's fine. That's fair. But no, I just to your point about Malik Willis, and I know I've been on the Jared Goff train, as our loyal listeners will know. So it's tough for me to say, because we were just coming from talking about Aubrey Pleasant, Ben Johnson. So it's tough for me to say, oh yeah, trust the process. In Brad Holmes, we trust. They got Aubrey Pleasant. They'll get another guy just as effective. But then to turn around and say, well, I don't think they should have taken Malik Willis. To your point, if this guy does in fact check all the boxes, then you can't not trust that and then turn around and say, oh yeah, I totally trust them to pick the next secondary coach.
Yeah.
You either trust their decision-making ability or you don't, sort of. In this, you're sort of in for a penny and for a pound in this regard. So I think as someone who has defended Jared Goff on this podcast many times, I feel like I have to agree with you, Miko. If Malik Willis does in fact check all the boxes, and they do take him, then you know what? I'll have to deal with it.
We'll see. And I think that here's the thing too. Brad Holmes is going to know how to get into situations and hopefully get out of situations, right? Like we're looking at, and I'm going to change gears here to like a Russell Westbrook here. The Lakers are stuck with him.
Yeah.
You know, when and Shannon Sharp said it today, it was very funny. Shannon said, you know, you got to think of trades like houses, man. You got to get in. You ain't going to buy $1 billion house that nobody else can buy it. You got to buy a house other people can buy. You got to be able to get rid of this if you need to, right? If you're going to buy it, you got to be able to sell it. You can't just buy it and be like, then stuck with it. So it's just something that I think, and that's why Holmes is here, right? To be able to manipulate, get in and out of situations and make the best of certain situations and get the talent that we need, right? And so this is where he's up, right? Dan Campbell did his job.
Well, and I think
Brad Holmes is up.
Well, like we said a couple weeks ago, this to me is where Brad Holmes is going to show me through the draft how they evaluated each position. If they decide to take a quarterback and if they decide to trade up to get a quarterback, then they clearly value that position they evaluate that position as one that needed to be upgraded. And I don't think there's anything that we saw this past season that would make us think like, oh, that shouldn't have been the case.
Right. I just worry about that. The fact that Dan Campbell being so up close and personal with Malik and the seniors, like how much that could influence of like what he sees and what they want. Yeah. Because they were with him that week, right? They're not there that week. They don't see what they've seen firsthand, right? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing, right? Because you think about it, you get in on Malik and then next year we got a better quarterback. Like, oh no, we're going to do a Kyler Murray. You know what I mean? Like after, you know, that situation, which now is not working out very well, right? Reports Kyler Murray called this one. Kyler Murray, troublemaker in Arizona.
Either way, you got to trust the evaluation of Brad Holmes and his team. And I do. I trust the evaluation either way. So whether it's Malik Willis, whether they decide to not address quarterback at all, I will trust that evaluation 100% either way.
Okay.
Next thing that we do got to talk about, though, shifting gears a little bit more, is this is a big week. This is Super Bowl week. We get to finally figure out between these two teams, between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams, who is truly the superior team in the NFL. I think this is a really good matchup on paper. Like,
let's go for a ride. Let's do it.
I think you get a lot of great matchups where the edge, I think, is going to be like razor thin, right? You have Joe Burrow versus Matthew Stafford. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins versus Cooper Kupp and OBJ. Like, there's a lot of dynamics.
Rooting for the Cincy so bad.
Really?
Yeah, I've gone straight Bengals now.
I keep going back and forth.
I've even got a bet on them. One.
I keep going back and forth.
You're gonna bet on both teams, though. I feel like
I already have, but I've got two on LA, and then I've got one on Bengies now, though. So this one's real good. Who day?
Hold on. Who day? What is the point of betting both teams?
Because I bet them in different ways, right? So I'm just betting straight up Rams, but I'm betting Bengals spread. So I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
Not
so,
really.
Yeah. So I do. I think the Rams are going to win at home, right? So I have a bet that they're going to win the game,
right?
But I've added onto that parlays. So I bet they're going to win the game. Mm-hmm. I've bet that Matthew Stafford's going to throw for over 290 yards. I have
over 290.
Yeah, they're saying the over under is 49.5 points for the game. I'm not betting that line, but that's the over. I'm not betting that. But for Stafford's going to have to throw to win. So I'm betting that over that, and I'm betting like Cooper Kupp over. I think it was 60 some yards. So it's an
easy bet,
right? So it's a couple things, right? So that's the Rams bet, but then the Bengals, I'm betting the spread. So I'm going to bet the Bengals that they're going to, and it's 4.5 points right now, which might get smaller, so that they'll cover that spread. So I'm betting them, and then I'm betting Jamar Chase over 90 yards and mix in with a touchdown. And so those are two bets. So theoretically, so I could win the Rams bet.
Yeah.
And I could win the other bet because it's not the Bengals winning, but they're covering the spread.
Gotcha.
So are your bets coloring who you're cheering for? Or did you place the bets based on what you wanted to see?
No, I placed the bets purely on making cash. But I'm rooting for the Bengals. Like, okay, I'm rooting for Stafford. Yeah, good luck. Okay, whatever. But I kind of am I'm kind of a Burrow fan now.
Doesn't that sound so dismissive? Like it's not a genuine like I'm rooting for Stafford. Like I'm rooting for Stafford, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
Let's get to the
it was like when John Madden passed and Scott did his like condolences to the family in between two.
Why do we have to bring that back up? Let's not bring that back up.
Yeah. No, the Rams Bengals to me comes down like it the reason why to me
it didn't even let me finish. Let me finish.
You're done. You're done.
You got pulled. This is This is not the Apollo. You got
because you were just talking about your betting.
No, but what I'm saying, why I moved from the Rams to the Bengals. I'm just 2 seconds, then I'll let you go. Why I moved from the Rams to the Bengies is because I'm rooting for the underdog. I was always an underdog with sports. We won states as underdogs. I was always an underdog, and I after listening to the media and listening to these Bengals players talk, I'm really rooting for the underdog in LA. That hostile environment. Like, how awesome would it be if the Bengals go in there and beat them at home in LA with all the celebrities there, that whole thing. So I'm kind of rooting for that upset. That's what I'm rooting for. That storyline.
Do me a favor.
What?
Play the Darren McCarty blow it out your rear end.
Okay.
Because that's exactly how I felt.
Out your rear end.
There we go.
That's fine.
All right. Anyway.
That's fine.
So
they're going to be ups and downs because they're going to have to learn how to win. But they're going to be up.
Well, I was going to. So to me, like the reason this is such an exciting matchup is because it seems like a matchup between tangibles and intangibles. Whereas the Rams, as we've said previously on this show, they have just an extraordinary collection of talent. And to me, like that's tangible. OBJ, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, Von Miller. Like they bet the farm. They went all in on this season. And that's one of the reasons why I've kind of been going back and forth is because they literally just bought the team. And in that regard, it's kind of like, it's like rooting for the Yankees. If it feels like kind of like rooting for the Yankees, like, you just bought your team. Whereas the Bengals have this like never say die, they have a lot of talent. Obviously you can't get to the Super Bowl without talent, but they, as Scott said, absolutely, they are the underdogs. And so what they have is this sneaky, crazy ability to find a way to win. And I don't know how you quantify that. I don't know. But so that's why I say it's a matchup between tangibles and intangibles. And I mean, I know it's tough. Like,
but I think
between tangerines and oranges.
I think it could go both ways though when you're talking about intangibles, because again, you have the intangibles that the Rams, like, yes, the Rams also have like this immense group of talent, but amongst that talent are intangibles that you can't necessarily replicate from team to team, right? The dog that is within Jalen Ramsey, like there's not that on the Bengals defense. Like there's no guy that's going to line up against Cooper Kupp or OBJ that you're gonna be like, oh, that dude's gonna come with a different mentality, right? Aaron Donald, when he decides to turn it on, like realistically, like who is stopping Aaron Donald if he decides that he wants to wreck shop?
Well, the play calling is gonna have to stop Aaron Donald. I mean, really, that's gonna be hard. Yeah, I get it, but that's why I'm saying, like, and I'm with it. But
and again, to me, the intangibles that Matthew Stafford basically cultivated, we talked about this last week, that he cultivated here, of that never say die, like it ain't over till I say it's over type of mentality. Like that's, it would not surprise me in the least bit. And I'm not saying this will happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is another game in this postseason that comes down to the last minute.
For sure.
Right. To whoever has the ball last. And
absolutely.
I'm telling you guys right now, if it's in Matthew Stafford's hand, like I'm gonna just be like, that's probably It's
I mean, I would hope so. I mean,
no, you wouldn't.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, here's the thing. It's
because then you
don't know. He's done it numerous times, and there's times he hasn't done it. Right? I mean, it's a game. I'm betting on it being a close game for sure. I'm rooting for Cincinnati. But I think the Rams win. I mean, I think without my emotions, I think the Rams win. Yes, for sure. Did I bet on them winning? Yes, but I do believe it's going to be a tight game. That's why I bet the spread. So it's going to be a field goal game, and Stafford will probably drive them back down. Like it's going to be. For sure.
The irritation in your voice is just
not really pumped about it.
Palpable.
It's just amazing.
I'll admit I'm not pumped about it. The more I'm talking about it, the more annoyed I'm getting.
But no, I do agree with you. I do think it'll be a close game. I don't think we're going to see what we saw when the Broncos played the Panthers and we thought like, oh, this will be really close, defense versus offense, and then like the Broncos ran away with it. I don't think we'll see that. And if we do see that, I don't think it's a true testament of talent. I think it will be a testament of experience, right? The Rams have been here before and the Bengals haven't. So if things, go the opposite way and it's not close, I think that's the main reason you'll be able to point to why it wasn't close.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Sean McVay, he had a really bad last game, right? We all would agree. So one would think he would do everything in his power to make this game better and him prepare. But he did say last time he was at the Super Bowl, he over-prepared. He over-prepared and then wasn't really prepared, which was interesting the way he was putting it. He over-prepared and then he didn't during the game. He didn't change anything. He didn't make any changes.
He became married to his preparation.
Yeah.
One thing that is kind of cool. So I'm again, listeners, if this is your first show, I am out here in LA, and one thing that's kind of funny.
Be there. John's going to be there.
I will not be there.
Feet on the street. Gian the Hurricane Hendricks is going to have a mic interviewing. You're going to be outside interviewing. We didn't talk. You didn't get the memo.
No, I did not get that memo.
Gian on the corner.
No, speaking of corners, there's so many people selling merchandise just out here on random corners. You see signs all over, like people have little tables and kiosks set up for Rams merch that with under flags that say Ram the Bengals.
That is awesome. You gotta get one of those.
Can you get one of those, please? We just need to at least take a photo.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. You know what?
We'll just send you some petty cash.
That's great. I should have thought of that. I should have.
I will personally reimburse you.
Ram the Bengals has been. I've seen it on multiple street corners. People hawking merch.
I haven't seen that online yet.
That is amazing.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that on Twitter.
If you can get like Scotty said, get a picture, I will reimburse you if you personally buy one, and that is immediately going up on social. Immediately going up on social.
All right,
that's amazing.
Right.
I mean, you said it's on every corner, so I think that shouldn't be an issue.
I may have exaggerated by saying every
corner.
Boy. My wife and I did lunch Sunday in West Hollywood, so we were
that before or after the premiere.
Oh, days after.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Premiere's on Friday.
My bad.
But no, yeah. So we were like mid city. We were in the heart of it. You
were downtown. Yeah, you were down. Okay.
No, like I said, I need to see one of those. That just sounds amazing.
Yeah, now we have to look it up. It's a whole thing. So thanks.
I shouldn't have even said anything.
No, it's fine, and I'm sure it's online. It's got to be online. But anyway, so anything else with Super Bowl? Oh, okay. Real quick side note: did you hear that AB signed with Kanye? And they bought a $2 million suite, 20 tickets, Donda Sports. Kanye, AB, and Floyd Mayweather.
Oh my God!
No comment.
Yes. Did you hear this?
No comment.
Did you hear this at all?
Yes, I did hear it.
Oh, okay. You didn't even want to bring it up? Didn't even want to touch it?
Don't even care.
It's so absurd.
3 of the most toxic individuals on this right now.
I think it's honestly just to promote his album. Purely to promote his next album. Anyway, I digress. Back to real sports.
back to reality.
Back to reality. Okay, who do you okay, last question. Who do we think is going to be the most what celebrity are the cameras going to show the most in LA? So think about all the John, and I'm going to start with you, John, on the spot. Johnny on the spot. What celebrity will be at the game that they will go to the most?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
But why?
I don't know, because they always
did it. They already did it last time.
Yeah, because they did it last time, and
it can't be Leo. Pick another one.
Why can't what?
It can't be Leo.
It can't be Leo. I want to see where John goes with this. Like, who's the most relevant actor?
No.
In LA?
Where he went with it.
I know he immediately went to the cop out. I don't like the cop out. What?
It'll be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
You think he'll go?
You think he's not? Is he not shooting a movie right now?
Yeah, I feel like he is the busiest man in the world.
One of the hardest working men in Hollywood. He probably is on location somewhere around the world.
What if he's at the facility working out in the gym?
No, he keeps his own gym. Like the dude.
No, I know, but it'd be funny if he was like, "I'm going to go to the game, but I'm going to work out."
He's working out with Jalen Ramsey, getting those reps in. We got Leo. We got The Rock.
I'm gonna go Denzel.
Denzel he'll be there.
It's so what's hilarious to me is they always go like in the first quarter when they know everyone's watching.
Yeah,
they always go like, "Oh, Leo, Denzel, Kate Blanchett." Like these
you're gonna go like this top line, just list it all out.
And then they're like, "Oh, this person's also here." This person,
Will Ferrell. Second half to do a comedy, guys. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly's here too.
John C. Reilly's here too. Yeah. So it depends. So who they're gonna show the most of? It depends on when in the game they are.
Is it on? Do we know if it's on Fox? Is it on Fox? CB? What?
No,
NBC.
It's NBC because Fox and CBS got the NFC AFC championship, so that Super Bowl's on NBC.
So I'm wondering what TV shows.
Oh, good call. Great
on NBC, because then they'll probably go to any of those or right.
Yep.
Right. Any of the shows on Peacock, right? Maybe then they would do right.
It'll be a lot of Peacock promotion.
It'll be.
Bills
are promoting the new Law and Order spinoff.
Ice-T. They're going to show Ice-T.
Yeah,
They'll do some Ice-T zoom-ins. And then okay, so halftime show. I'm really excited for this halftime show, right? Dre, Eminem, Snoop,
Kendrick,
Mary J. Blige,
and her awkward dancing and her dancery.
Yeah, dancery. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it hopefully it'll be good. I
think it'll be amazing.
Sometimes they can ruin these things though. There's too much.
Too much black excellence in this for it to be terrible. Plus Eminem.
I think that might have to be the social post. Too much black excellence in this halftime show.
It's not gonna be like Lady Gaga where it's one person and then the entire conversation is how many costume changes did she go through in 7.5 minutes or whatever it was.
Seriously.
It's gonna be it's gonna be about the actual performances. That's actually an interesting
I hope
point.
so. Hopefully Dre's got a tune that nobody's heard that he's gonna release too.
Oh no, he's gonna do throwbacks.
Well, yes.
I expect greatness from this. Mary J. Blige's part may be a little because Mary J. Blige kind of is hit and miss with people.
But that's fair. There might not be much there.
But Mary J. Blige is a good bop. It's a nice little
that's true.
This is good.
Okay. All right. So John, who is the one celebrity you want to see?
That I want to see.
You want to see them focus on. Is there any from your indie, red carpets or any new movie screenings that we don't know yet about that they're going to focus on?
No. Who do I want them to focus on? Purely for entertainment purposes?
Yeah, just for you. What if they zoomed in on this person that would be hysterical or great, and you'd be like, that's awesome.
It'd be so funny to see Scott Conn. Because
and his hair
because that's the kind of person that they would focus on. They're like, oh, Scott Conn.
5-0.
Millions of Americans are like, who's Scott Conn?
I literally did that because I was like, who?
He's the guy. He's the number 2 from Hawaii 5-0.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly who he is. He's not even an A-lister.
I love when you guys show your age on the show. This is awesome.
Sure, age. What are you talking about?
He was
also tweeter in Varsity Blues.
Yes, and he was an Entourage, and he was like, I feel like, yes, I'm so glad I came up with Scott Conn, because that's who I'm.
If they zoom in on him, you are a prophet.
Or like, I should say, like the Scott Conn tier.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. So who is in the tier? Can you give us like one or two others?
You're really putting me on the spot here.
I know. Well, you said Scott Conn tier. We'll give you a second before you have to go. Miko, is there any? What?
Like basically like CBS primetime like show, like
so like Bones, like that show, like Bones, or like Law and Order Bones.
They're the lead on like NCIS New Orleans.
Okay. I don't even know.
Spin-offs, not Law and Order, like Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Criminal Intent. Like it's got to be the spin-off shows, the leads in like spin-off shows. Scott Conn, Chris O'Donnell. Although LL Cool J is,
I was gonna say,
I only noticed I went home for Christmas and my parents only watch CBS procedurals.
I was gonna say, like, he's going through the
show. I was like sitting here like, no, I know most of those shows. Like, I feel like any of those celebrities would be like, all right, that's like B tier.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Who? Oh, Timothy Chalamet. I feel like that's another guy. They're gonna like.
Who is that?
He's in Dune. He's the lead in Dune.
Okay.
And like, I feel like anyway, like, because it has to be someone that middle America, like tens of millions of Americans are going to be like, I do not care who this is. I don't know who this is, but they're going to hold on them and be like, oh, this is Timothy Chalamet.
Well, because it is LA, right? Like, so you're going to get the gambit. You're going to get your A-list celebrities in the beginning. Probably the second quarter, they're going to start throwing in, like, peppering in a couple other people. Third quarter, again, they'll probably go back up top of the list. Be like, all right, here's a couple more A-list.
Find someone in the crowd.
Yeah, like it's going to be something like that. And then, like, once the game is pretty much clinched, like whichever team is winning, they're going to try and find the celebrity from that region. They're going to be like, all right, which celebrity is from the Midwest? Maybe not Cincinnati, but like is just from the Midwest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know who they're going to zoom in on? Who I don't want to see?
Local connection.
Ellie Stafford.
Local connection.
What, John?
That's when, that's when they're going to go for the local connection. Like, oh, if there is like Jonathan India, like if he manages to go, they're like, oh, like if the Cincinnati
Reds, like what is going on?
I literally have to Google every last one of these people.
MLB Rookie of the Year. I talked about him last episode.
Yeah, but it's baseball. Come on, let's be fair.
They're gonna zoom in. I think they're gonna zoom in on a Zac Efron is what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but he's like first quarter.
Yeah,
Zac Efron, Alexandra Daddario, The Rock.
Yeah, you're gonna get a mixture of
those are first quarter. Leonardo DiCaprio. Those are first quarter zoom ins. Then you start to get the Scott Conns, the Chris O'Donnells, the Elijah Woods.
The more wasted the audience is, the more they're going to just start peppering in random people.
Yeah, for sure.
Adam Driver.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yes, that's an excellent second, third quarter.
Right.
Pick. And then they're like, oh, he was a Marine, to appeal to middle America. They'd be like, oh, he was a Marine who became an actor. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
We really derailed with the celebrity though. This is great.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate this rabbit hole that we went down.
This is funny for me though, because I mean Gion's living this. I mean, this is his world. This is what he values. Well,
it's not good.
I was gonna say he just spent the weekend at an orange farm.
This is what he values. This is his status.
Yeah, this is what I've chosen in life.
This is what he puts monetary value on. No, he was picking oranges for those that were curious about my tangerine versus orange comment earlier. Yes, he was picking oranges on his father-in-law's estate, I think.
No, I mean it's like a tiny home.
I was gonna say when you say estate, it makes it sound like his father-in-law is like some sort of like drug lord who has like tangerines and oranges mixed in with the cocaine in the back. Like
Well,
no, it's like a 350 square foot like mini home, but it just happens to it just happens to be on an orange grove, an avocado grove, which is gorgeous. You open up those front doors and you're there.
That's amazing. No, he sent us photos. It's amazing. I'm just playing around, but we had to do that. So, all right. So we got through the Super Bowl celebrity rabbit hole that I created there.
Yeah, we got to say goodbye to John. John's had to leave for like the last 15 minutes, and we've basically held him hostage. So
yeah, well, you get him rolling on the celebrity thing. He likes it, so that's how I got him to stick around a little bit.
Yeah.
So Rachel can blame Scott then.
Yes, it's all my fault.
Miko had nothing to do with this. Miko was just along for the ride.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, not even along for the ride. I was held captive.
He was held captive, and he had to look up a couple celebs. Anyway, I think they are going to do a lot of zooming in on random celebs. They're going to.
Yeah, completely random. Sure. Good call.
All right, Gian.
All right, take care, guys. Thanks.
Adios.
See you.
Bye.
Okay, so after this weekend, we got to experience all the all-star games, right? That we had the football, we had the hockey. Basketball's coming up, right? This weekend. Yeah. Now my thing is, and Miko, you brought up a good point. Like, what do these even mean? Are these pointless? Which is a really good question. And like I said, as we started the show, you said this before Valenti did his bit today. I want to give you credit on that.
Appreciate it.
Because I think that is cool. And he hit that pretty hard today. I think at least 15 minutes, which is solid for him. So I have thoughts on that.
Okay.
I have thoughts on that. The NFL one, I never really got into, just from a personal perspective, right? But I didn't play in the NFL, right? So I didn't play football.
Yeah.
Clearly didn't play in the NFL. So I played hockey, soccer, played a little bit of basketball, but to me, the NFL, like the skills challenge was more fun, right?
Sure.
When they did the celebrity flag football stuff, or now the new, I do like the quarterbacks throwing.
Yeah, trying to
with cornerbacks. That's pretty sweet.
It's basically like
that was cool.
I don't want to say cornhole, but like it's something where like basically
they have all these different holes, different points. They're trying to throw it in there, and they got to fake the guy out. They're not just accuracy; it's about faking him out, which was. And Mac Jones he's actually, he's a talented guy, man.
Yeah, no, when I watched like the beginning of that drill, it wasn't pretty. Like like him or Kirk Cousins wasn't hitting anything. Like this is not a good representation of quarterback.
No, it's not good. It's not good. But anyway, so to me, that's more fun than the actual game.
For sure.
Now, and having said that too, hockey changed it up and made it a little tournament. So I think they had 4 teams, and they were playing each other, and they had to whereas a mini tournament, 3-on-3, to open the ice up more, so nobody's getting hurt. They, obviously it was like 6-8, 3-5 or 4-6, I forget, but it was a little higher scoring games. But in those moments, it's 3-on-3. You can tape to tape. Those guys are so good. Doesn't matter who they're playing with; they're just so good.
Yeah.
So to me, I think hockey's kind of figured out. They've always had their skill challenges, and Larkin he still is, super fast on the ice.
Yeah.
But so to me, hockey won the weekend in regards to what I was enjoying, right? I enjoyed the game and the skills challenge, whereas the NFL, like I didn't even watch really much of the game. I couldn't stay focused on it, but the skills challenge, I stopped and watched, right? The wide receivers jumping and doing the catches and them rating the catches. That was new and cool.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing so this all kind of like this thought process for me started with the backlash that the Pro Bowl was getting, where essentially I didn't watch much of it either. Like I turned it on for a second and I basically saw somebody 2-hand touch somebody, and I was like, there's no way this is actually happening in a Pro Bowl right now. That is the drawback of the NFL. Like it's their only version of an all-star game, but when you can't play actual football,
right? Like
the purpose of all-star games is essentially like supposed to give fans that fantasy matchup that like you can only basically put together on Madden when you like disable all the trade restrictions and you can just put players on teams,
right? And every single player you want on your team,
right? And you can just build this ridiculous super team. That's what an all-star game is supposed to be. But when you can't play your sport to the highest level, well, it loses all interest. And I'm not saying that the NFL should be trying to figure out ways to make it that. I think the NFL should just take it away. And I think they should make their Pro Bowl really just a collection of skill challenges, because there is so much more that you could do to highlight players and, like you're saying, team guys up.
Completely agree.
Like, that would be way more compelling.
Love that.
Than giving us a 4-quarter game where guys aren't even going to tackle each other.
Miko, guys aren't even playing in the preseason, so why would they play in an all-star game? Well, like, what the chance of injury? I mean, I get it, but also, I think a lot of the old school football guys, like, what are you doing?
Right. Well, and that's like, the thing, right?
A little bit of that.
Well, because again, the money's also different, right? So again, guys would play in the Pro Bowl and they would try to win the Pro Bowl because they knew, like, hey, there's a huge bonus check at the end of this.
Right.
And that's more money that I can tack onto my salary. But when everybody's basically being paid top dollar, nobody cares.
Right.
And even if a couple of players care, right? You're the one or two guy.
Now saying that, what if they made the pot huge?
So this is
what if they made it huge?
It's not worth the injury. Because what will end up happening is more guys will just pull out and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm dealing with something. That's what's happening now. Like,
no, that's true.
Right.
And then Alvin Kamara is getting in a fight and getting arrested.
So there's nothing that I think the NFL can do to incentivize guys to play the game for real, because the risk is too high, right? Injury is too high. I mean, it's not talked about nearly enough, but CTE is still a thing. Like, you don't want to be like racking up your concussion count in an all-star game.
That's true. I was just throwing out there. The only thing is, like, okay, if you just made a huge pot, fine. But if you can't do it, you can't do it, right? So if you don't have the game, you're only doing skills challenges, right?
Right. Well, then you can still do, though, what you're saying, though. So again, to get players to engage with the skill challenges and stuff like that, you make a big pot and it goes over the course of the weekend. That's something the NBA started doing, where originally, like back in the day, like their all-star weekend would consist of like 3-point contest, skills challenge, dunk contest. And those would just be like individual events. Mm-hmm. They started making those like points driven. So, and it becomes more of an East-West thing. And it incentivizes players from those conferences to give their best so that they have a chance for their conference to win this bonus, win the higher bonus. Sorry, because everybody gets a bonus. Right. You just want the higher bonus. And to your point, the NBA has also tweaked their all-star game to make it more enjoyable, because they were suffering from the same issue where guys weren't playing defense in the NBA, and for good reason. I'm not about to tear my Achilles when it's supposed to be my weekend off. Like, I'm not about to do that.
Right.
So what they ended up doing in the NBA was, instead of playing like full 4-quarter games, like, yes, they're still playing 4 quarters, but it's to a point total. So like, once you like, I think it's like the first like 120 something, because they know scoring is going to be at a premium.
Right.
So it's like whoever hits that total first wins. And you see the game ratchet up, like, once the score gets a little bit tighter and you're trying to like, all right, we're trying to get like the last score or whatever like that. You give fans still the things that they want. Like, the first half is usually just all fun, right? You see guys just throwing the ball off the backboard, a bunch of alley-oops,
right?
Ridiculous trick shots and stuff like that. But then you still get the second half where it's a little more competitive.
They get serious for sure.
But all in all, like, I still sit back and look at all-star games and I'm just like, yeah, this isn't as intriguing as it was when I was a kid. This isn't the same level of excitement that I had. And I wouldn't have a problem at all with them doing away with all of them.
Does it? So having said that, Miko, does being an all-star matter to these guys at all? So to that, right? Do they even care that they're there?
I think the first one matters.
Okay.
Right? I think any professional athlete, I mean, maybe except for football, because football players are a little bit different in the fact that you have like all pro and the Pro Bowl, and all pro seems to be way more credible than, Pro Bowl. But like, I feel like most of because some of these guys go into the Hall of Fame, specifically in the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. And they list off like, hey, he was a 10-time All-Star, whatever.
Sure.
It's a notch in your belt that you were at least.
It's a badge. It's a yearly badge, annual badge of I'm still
right
top,
and it matters because I think like
so. Yes, it does matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so you can't do away with the whole thing.
No, but you don't have to have the games. you can still I think fans would still watch if you put in a lot of effort. For example, instead of doing
tough though, I'm just trying to think if I was like, could you get rid of the game? I mean, you know what I mean?
I think you. So to your point about
Football,
hockey doing like a tournament, basketball would be way more enjoyable if you just did 3-on-3 tournaments.
That would be cool, but so I'm with that, and I think basketball you could do, and hockey they figured out. I think that football though you can't do like
there's no
it's
game.
Over.
Yeah, I think the game is over. You're not going to get players like you're not going to be able to get 2 teams worth of guys that are going to say we're going to play hard, not stars.
Yeah,
right. Like as much as JJ Watt is complaining at home about like I've seen walkthroughs that were more intense than this. If JJ Watt was on the field though,
he wouldn't have done anything
because he would have went along with everybody else. Like okay, I'm not going to like Russell Wilson is not expecting to get sacked hard, so I'm not going to, you're not going to
go after him, right?
But like. So I think for football's sake, you have to do away with it. And I found this really interesting when comparing the Pro Bowl to the Senior Bowl, because the Senior Bowl is essentially is an all-star game. It's a collection of talent. Yes. But the reason why the Senior Bowl is more enjoyable and more competitive, it's an interview process.
Right.
These guys are still like they have something to play for outside of money.
It's the first part of the draft evaluation in this draft season.
So they have to show up. You're going to see defensive tackles destroy offensive linemen or vice versa to try and show like, hey, I deserve to play in this league. But once you've made it to the league,
right,
what do you have to prove?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, why does it matter?
So I would hope that the NFL would do an evaluation. And I know it sucks because you're going to like, that's essentially you're giving up money, right? That's a televised event that you're basically going to be giving, but you got to find something else. You got to get the NFLPA together, whatever, get the players together and see if you can come up with more skill challenges. Maybe you can do something where you bring in some of the legend, like some of the former players, and you make it this whole thing instead of, you start bringing in players from all different eras and all different teams and they all contribute in some sort of way. Like, I don't know, dude, but
right.
At this point, I would rather watch that than watch a full game. Like I would.
That's fair. So the games, so basically what we've decided is the NFL game is pointless. The other ones we can keep everything else.
You can probably spice up the other ones.
The NFL game gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You heard it here first. Questionable podcast. Yeah, so I think that's about it for tonight. Miko, is there anything else you want to touch on?
For today's show, no, not really. We have a huge, he's a huge guest to us
right
next week. So, that's really exciting. We'll be able to, do we want to say,
we didn't mention, I teased it earlier. I didn't.
Yeah, well, I think we can say we're at the end of the podcast.
It now. Yeah. For those that made it all the way through.
Yeah.
Miko, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So we will have the privilege of having Jeremy Reisman from Pride of Detroit joining us on the podcast next week. He's going to talk some NFL draft with us. Some Lions free agency. So it's going to be really, really exciting just to be able to get his insight. Obviously, he covers the team very closely, so he has a lot of insight. We'll be able to talk to him, obviously, like I said, about the draft process, about what free agency could possibly look like for the Lions, as well as, like I said, they've done some hiring and promoting, so we'll be able to probably pick his brain about that and just how those things probably came about. But I'm super excited to have Jeremy on the show.
I can't wait. And John knows his roommate, which is such a small world.
Yeah, that's going to be that. I don't know if we'll talk. We'll probably talk about it a little bit on the show. I definitely want to talk to him about it before we get on air.
I think sound check. We'll have to make that connection.
Yeah. So I think that'll be really cool. And just like I said, I'm super appreciative of Jeremy even just giving us the time and probably won't be here the whole episode, but we should be able to get at least a good 15-20 minutes out of it. Which we are super
we have some very appreciative. We have some I think that are some solid questions to ask him, and I think that Gion's got a couple questions. I think it'll be a good interview, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then our next guest after that, we'll have to get Darren right in after that.
We gotta have Mac back on because
Fight Night at the Joe is coming up March 26th. So we got the end of the hockey season coming up, second half of the season. We'll see what the Wings are made of, if they can make a little push here to try and try and snag a wild card.
Yeah.
We're still 500, but there's a lot of hockey left to be played. So, I'm excited about that. And then and the Pistons, what are the Pistons going to do, man?
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, All-Star Weekend's coming up, which also means that NBA trade deadline's coming up.
When is the trade? Is the trade deadline next week?
I think it ends like next week. So I can't remember. I don't know for sure.
Westbrook to Detroit? Hysterical.
I would take it.
You would?
Oh yeah, just for the fun. just for the laugh.
Westbrook and Harden to Detroit?
All right, no. Hell no. Because then I feel like you have to throw Cade in there somewhere and not do that.
No.
But yeah, so
Westbrook is not coming to Detroit.
Hopefully next week we'll have some trade news for the Pistons. If not, like, put it this way. If the Pistons make a trade, we'll be able to talk about that. If they do not make any trades,
we will be able to talk about that too.
I am going to come on here and have words for Troy Weaver.
Look out. Weaver in trouble.
Like I'm already not happy with this team. So
this is Miko.
So
this is Weaver.
Be prepared for that. Yeah, be prepared. One way or another. Either I'll have really nice things to say, or I'm gonna have really mean things to say.
Or
yeah.
Okay. I look forward to that, actually. I mean, they need to do something. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's another Tuesday night in the books. I want to thank Gian. He had to go to his screening or red carpet. I can't recall. One of the two.
Yeah. Popular guy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. He needs to bring us along for one of these.
Well, I just wish he would tell us he was going to be at the game. He's trying to not make us feel bad that he's going to go and be in a suite, at the Super Bowl.
I wish before he goes to these premieres, he always comes onto the show just so cash.
Yeah.
I wish he would put on the tux that we know that he's going to be putting on and just clean himself up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's and it's also one of those custom tuxes that doesn't look like a tux, probably, right? So it's not even, it's like a suit. It's like a tux. It's like a suit. It's nah, I'm not even gonna do a tux.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I just wish he'd be more honest with us. Just tell us. We won't feel. We won't feel bad that you get to go and we don't. But
I think
he's
ashamed of us.
Maybe. I mean, that's why we probably haven't been invited around.
I mean, I can see why you wouldn't be, right? I mean, I am very pleasant and lovable.
That's fine. I agree with you. You are. I have, Scotty questions. I asked too many questions. So anyway, I think that's it. But yeah, Miko, thanks for rolling over today. Next week, you'll be at home. We'll all be remote for our interview. And we look forward to that. So again, I want to thank everybody for listening in. Please follow, and subscribe The Questionable Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube now. Please follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to have this up there. We're going to work on the format and everything like that, but we're very happy with where we started. Miko, thank you for that. I just want to thank my wife and my daughter for letting us do this. I want to thank my extended family. I want to thank everybody, the crew supporting us. Again, we have a really big spring coming up, big summer. So we will promote and show all of our work that's coming. We're very excited. A lot of things that are still being worked on. Nothing happens overnight. So
yeah,
we're still working on those things. Really happy about it. But Miko?
Yeah, definitely got to thank the family. Got to thank my wife, my girls, my family for their continued support. And again, like Scott said, go over, check us out on all social platforms. You can find full episodes of the podcast on YouTube as well. Basically anywhere you can download podcasts, you can find us. Apple Music, Spotify, Google Music, Amazon Music. We are out here in these streets.
So we out here in these streets. All right. Well, that's it. We appreciate you guys. And tune in next week to hear Jeremy. All right. That's the Questionable Podcast. Out.